I have been wondering and puzzled by the fact of why it is so upsetting to me to to always see Christ or God depicted with the face of Jesus. Whenever people have near-death experiences, they see and feel the identity of Jesus. And I've been wondering why this is so upsetting to me. I mean, clearly my own trauma cannot be that deep that I would want to dissociate from that face. And I think it is for reason of more than my own trauma. I think I am feeling collective trauma. The Caucasian face of Jesus is an affront to the other cultures of the world, in particular the native cultures and the African American and African nations and cultures. To depict God as a white bearded man, or even a Jewish bearded man, and it's not established from history that he would have the olive skin. He could very well have been a black man. But why does God, the face in the light, in the near-death experiences, not appear as a black man? Have you ever asked yourself that question? It is long-time generational psychological conditioning. And I have to give credit to William Paul Young with his literary work of the book by the title of The Shack, and also the movie that followed that. But his work of depicting God as a large African woman is too young, too infantile, and has not permeated the conscience and consciousness of the global population. And for this reason, no one with a near-death experience will walk toward the light and see an African American woman claim to be God. It is purely a collective consciousness and a psyche that was formed over generations and millennia, that the great white light in heaven has to show the face of the bearded God with the white beard and the face of Jesus, because that image is the oldest image that has penetrated the soul of man, and what will be projected on the movie screen of heaven. You might think this is preposterous, but ever since I have cracked the code of the soul and looked behind the curtain and understood the mechanics of how the soul creates reality, I just cannot settle and be satisfied with the image of God being the traditional white-skinned, bearded father type. It does not work for most cultures of the world. And unfortunately, we don't hear much from other cultures and their near-death experiences. I think it would open this up and be very interesting to see how they experience their near-death and who they meet. The personification of eternal consciousness is a problem. When we make that into the image of truth, it's like a wooden shoe that we're trying to force onto the feet of humanity. And God cannot be a wooden shoe, inflexible. The light consciousness has to be able to morph into anything. But our psyche is not that flexible. Our psyche can often be like a wooden shoe, and it expects to see that by which it was conditioned. And that is the reason why I get agitated when the face of God is always described as the face of Jesus. It is so limiting. It is so limiting. And surely it is strongly influenced by the book that we were given and had to read and had to memorize and had to study and had to acquaint ourselves with, because the book was equated with God in our psyche. And this is how God was formed in the mind of man. That is my thesis on the image of God.